Hey everybody, Walter here. It is currently 12:34 a.m. here Monday morning now in the suburbs of Chicago. Been a long day. Was at C2E2, the final day of that earlier, and went straight to my friend Barry's house to watch WrestleMania 34. And I've got my thoughts on that. We're going to break down the card, and I'll let you know my thoughts and opinions on this show. I'm using my phone, sorry. I mean, it has the breakdown. I'm going to have to look at that. So, Matt Hardy won the 5th annual now. That's crazy. There's been 5 of these. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. The crowd was into Matt Hardy. I know this was the first match of the night, and it was before even, I think, the entire crowd was in there, because this was like the pre-show. This was, I guess, aired on USA. We were all watching it on the network, but this apparently aired on USA the first hour of the pre-show. Everyone was into it. The delete. Yeah, that was great. That was very over. Matt won. You got a surprise return from Bray Wyatt, who's now Woken Wyatt. I'm sure, you know, they probably won't use that, but now they're aligned, and I actually love that combination. I really hope that Bray kind of changes his look a little bit, and their team could really be something cool. I mean, I'm waiting for Jeff to get his issues out of the way, for him to come back, and the whole Broken Universe thing. That's really going great, man, and I'm really happy for Matt Hardy. Matt Hardy used to be one of my favorite guys back in like the mid-2000s when he was on SmackDown. After he came back after the whole Lead and Edge thing, and he was making that push for the U.S. title, I was a big Matt Hardy fan back then, and it's great to see him doing so well with a very unique character. So really looking forward to where they go with the Wyatt stuff. Cedric Alexander defeated Mustafa Ali for the Cruiserweight Championship in the tournament finals. That was a pretty good match. They couldn't have anything too long. Still a pre-show match, but it was a good match. I was a little surprised Ali lost, but yeah, it was just a really good match. Now, I don't have too much to say because I don't watch NXT every week. I don't even watch Raw every week. I mean, it's tough to keep up with stuff. Like, I know what's going on through podcasts, mostly like Solid Monster Sounds Off. I listen to him every single week, and he keeps me up to date on what's happening. But a lot of time I just don't have time to watch all of the shows, just highlights here and there. So that was a really good match, even though I didn't know everything behind it. Quick note about the Battle Royal. We had JR and King out there. So that was at least cool to have them on. I wish, I don't know why we need Bryan Saxton out there to butt into the greatest announced team ever, or at least one of. Don't know why he was in there, but whatever. And that was the only match that they announced. A little bit, I don't know, you could put them on for one of the shows, or one of the matches, I mean, come on. it's JR and King. They're still great. You know, even though at Raw 25 they're a little shaky. But here on WrestleMania they're really good, or the pre-show I should say. So then Naomi prevailed in the first ever women's Battle Royal, WrestleMania Battle Royal, the not fabulous Moolah Battle Royal. That was okay. I mean, it was nothing big. It was alright. It was okay. Nothing crazy happened besides Bayley turning on Sasha and throwing her out, and they're going to continue with that, but then Naomi was still in the match and threw her out, and she won, and she got that interesting looking trophy. Going on next to the actual show, so the pre-show was over at that point. The actual show started with the Intercontinental Triple Threat match with Seth Rollins defeating The Miz and Finn Balor to become the new Intercontinental Champion. That was a really good way to start the main show, the main card. Man, Miz is like the perfect heel right now. With Daniel Bryan back, I really, really hope that they work a program coming up soon, because they've built that up either intentionally or unintentionally, depending on, you know, if Bryan was always thinking he was going to come back or not. But from months ago or a year ago, whenever that Talking Smack stuff was, now that Miz has been using his kicks and all that, like, I really want to see that. So Seth Rollins wins, though. He's the new IC champ. It also frees Finn Balor up for maybe something, you know, on Raw tomorrow night, or tonight I should say, maybe, we'll see. So that was a good match, good finish. I'm glad Seth has got the Intercontinental belt. I think that, I kind of value that above the Universal Championship right now, to tell you the truth. I don't know what you feel about that, but that's the one that's been defended, that's one that's been on TV every week. Miz has been great with it as a heel champ, so I'm really on board with the IC title nowadays. I'm glad that Rollins has it. The SmackDown's Women's Championship. Okay, Charlotte and Asuka, I do have some thoughts on this. So, great entrance from Charlotte. Wow. They had some really good entrances on the show. Asuka got the augmented reality thing, which they did throughout the show, and like, it just felt kind of cheap to me, honestly. They did that with her and then with the New Day too, and I think a couple other entrances. It was just weird. It didn't look very good, and especially when you have that, right next to Charlotte's great entrance. I thought they kind of gypped her on a really cool entrance. But yeah, the match was really good. It could have been a classic. Could have been like an all-time classic. But they kind of cut it off, it seemed like. It seemed like they were going to go another 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes. And in a shock, Charlotte made Asuka tap to the figure 8. So while it was a great match, and I loved seeing those two in there, I was a little surprised. I was kind of rooting for Asuka, and I didn't really go in there with a favorite or whatever, but I thought it made more sense for Asuka to win and keep going than maybe run into Ronda Rousey a little bit later this year. And Charlotte is a great babyface. She's a great wrestler in general, but she's more tailor-made to be a heel. I mean, she's got a lot of her dad in her, obviously, and that makes her more prone to being a heel and being a good one. So I thought maybe, she would lose and then turn on Asuka after or something, but that didn't happen. So as of right now, we still got Charlotte as a champ. It's not a bad thing, but Asuka, I thought it would have been a little bit better if she would have won. But afterwards, they shook hands and stuff, and that was a nice little moment. Jinder Mahal defeats Randy Orton, Rusev, and Bobby Roode to win the United States Championship. This match was, it wasn't bad. It was okay. It didn't slow down the show. I can't say one thing about that. Overall, the pacing of the show was great. It was so long, but it didn't feel long at all. I was complaining to my friends about this before, like 7 hours of wrestling. But it didn't like breeze by or anything like that, but there was no like boring parts to me. I was invested in the entire show until the ending that we'll get to. But Jinder wins the U.S. title. I'm sure they'll do the evil foreigner thing again because, that's worked out so well. But Rusev is so over, man. Rusev, man, they got to do something with that guy. I really hope him and Jinder maybe go off in a feud or something. A little surprised that they pinned him, or maybe not surprised because, they always like to give us a little extra knock in the face sometimes when we support people who they don't want us to support. But it was a good showing for Rusev for sure. A lot of people are into Rusev right now, and I hope they do something with him going forward. Kurt Angle and Ronda Rousey defeated Triple H and Stephanie McMahon. Triple H and Stephanie's entrance was cool. Once I saw the motorcycles, I was like, we might not get American Badass Undertaker tonight. Because they had literally like a dozen motorcycles out there. So that was a cool entrance. Ronda looked great. Man, she's in great shape. She's a natural out there, man. And I'm so glad that the crowd didn't turn on her or anything. Like, the entire time they were into her. Ronda was great in there. I can't overstate that enough. Like, Angle, Kurt's a little bit older. He's really banged up. You could tell from years and years of doing this. And he's just not as smooth as he used to be. That guy could have countered any move into an ankle lock before. You've all seen, if you're watching this, you've seen some old Angle matches where he can just, like, turn anything into an ankle lock, do, all this crazy stuff. And now, like, even his punches aren't just as quick, and it's kind of sad to see him in that state. But he wasn't really bad in this, he just looked a little bit slower. Triple H is still doing really well at his age. Stephanie was Stephanie, what are you going to do? That was the story that they built up. But, she got her comeuppance. That was all a really good ending to the story, at least for now. Bottom line in this, Ronda looked great. I was really a little surprised about how well she really did, and I'm looking forward to seeing more of her. Now, the trick is going to be keeping her special. You don't want to go as far as Brock and, bring her on every couple months. I know she said she's a full-time superstar, but you got to keep her special somehow. You got to keep her somewhat as an attraction, maybe around for, maybe only wrestling every once in a while, but being on all the TV shows or something. We'll see what they do with her, but people are really into Ronda right now, and I'm glad that they're doing that. I want to see more stuff. Unfortunately, we're not going to get that Asuka Ronda Rousey match with Asuka's streak on the line, but there's other ways they can go with it to still get as much out of Ronda's early days as possible. But really good match. People were so into it. It went really well. It was a good spectacle match, and Ronda did great. That's the bottom line. The Bludgeon Brothers defeated the Usos, the New Day, in a triple threat match to win the SmackDown Tag Team titles. So there's a really cool moment in the entrance for the New Day, the augmented reality thing I didn't really like, but we heard the Green Ranger, the Dragon Flute theme, dun, 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 and then out came a bunch of little people wearing pancake outfits, which is, sure, that's the New Day, right? So that was a cool moment. But I'm really happy for Luke Harper. Like, you know, Rowan, I've never been a big fan of. I always kind of thought that he held Harper down a little bit. I think Luke Harper is so underrated. When he was IC champ, I was really, into that little run that he had. And I always thought he could be doing better than he is. We're in the position that they have him in. But he had a really good showing here, and even Rowan looked good in this. So I'm glad that they won. There was a good ending. I liked the finish they had, that powerbomb off the second rope, the sit-out powerbomb. So, what I'm taking away from this for the most part is I'm happy for the Bludgeon Brothers, but mostly Luke Harper for having another title, and hopefully they can go somewhere with him in the future. We'll see what happens. But good match. It was short, and after the crowd was a little worn out after the tag match with Ronda Rousey and Kurt Angle, but they kept this one short enough where the crowd was still into it by the end, and I like the outcome. Next, The Undertaker defeated John Cena. So this is a weird thing. So having John in the crowd, I knew was going to be annoying. I knew they were going to keep cutting to him, and of course when they cut to him, the lights came on, and it's John Cena watching the match, and he's trying not to look at the camera too much and be invested. I'm sure he doesn't want to step on the match that's happening, but they kept insisting on cutting to John Cena during a couple of the moments, a couple of big moments, especially during the Charlotte Asuka match, which they didn't need to do that. That really bothered me. But a ref came out and got John, was telling him, The Undertaker's here, or something like that. So he like, yeah, no kidding. And then he was like, oh, you're serious? And he runs in the back. And that was at the end of the Charlotte Asuka match. And then he comes out for his full entrance. And then another ref comes out and said, oh, he's not here. And he's like, for real? And then Elias comes out. I think Elias can be a really good babyface, I think. He's a great heel, but I think he could be a really good babyface sometime in his future. But he's got a great little gimmick going with the guitar and stuff. So Cena takes care of him really quick. And then we get a cool moment with him leaving, and then Undertaker's, gong goes off, the lights go off. And then when they come back on, we see that, his clothes and the hat are in the ring, and they get struck by lightning, and the Undertaker comes out. I was really still holding on to hope that the American Badass thing could happen. We had Kid Rock there. All the signs kind of pointed to him coming back as that character. And to really hear him talk, that's the main reason, is that the Undertaker can't have a full promo talking trash or whatever as the Deadman character. But he cut some great promos, especially heel promos when he was the American Badass, Big Evil, whatever you want to call him. And I really was hoping that we'd see that. You didn't have to, it could have been a one-off thing. And I do like the Deadman character way better. But, this was a moment I think that we could have gotten the American Badass back. We didn't get it, but still a great, awesome moment to see that. The crowd was going crazy for Undertaker coming back. It was awesome to see. The match was short and sweet to the point. Cena did really well, looking really intimidated and sort of off his game because of the Undertaker playing around with his mind so much. And the match was really short. Undertaker looked good. I think he had a hip replacement or something since the last time we saw him. He looked infinitely better than last year, but this match also wasn't really a match. It was kind of a squash match. Kind of reminded me of the Brock Lesnar beating that he gave to Cena all those months ago or years ago now. But it didn't last as long. This was just pretty quick, in and out. It was more of a moment thing. So is this the last Undertaker match now? I don't know. It doesn't feel like it. We'll see where Undertaker goes from here, but we're probably not going to see him for a while. We'll probably get Cena saying I'm going on a vacation or something tomorrow on Raw, or tonight on Raw. But that was a really cool moment. I like that. And then right after that, got Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon defeating Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. I like the little thing they showed about the yes movement, like how the yes hand motions and stuff spread all across the world. That was great. And seeing Bryan back, it really, like, I was welling up, man. To see him back in the ring, and you could tell he's just soaking everything in. And that was great to see. Shane also, I know he had diverticulitis and had an abdominal hernia or something. Like, he was legitimately banged up going in this match, and he did great, man. Shane was selling really well. Had a lot of really good spots in there. That coast-to-coast kick, he didn't even need the garbage can. That dude's in his mid-40s, and man, I couldn't do that. Go all the way across there. He had him upside down. I had Sami Zayn upside down in the trio well. That match was really good. I liked it a lot. It wasn't anything super special. The match itself was more about Bryan's comeback. The crowd was really into it. Since this directly followed the Undertaker thing, I think that they were a little bit worn out. and they didn't give, quite the response I was expecting. But, after he first came out, it died down a little bit. But, it's just great to see Bryan back. And I'm sure on Raw, if he does come up tonight on Raw, the Raw after Mania, that we'll see a huge reaction to him. I hope they'll do that. I know he's SmackDown GM, but maybe they can sneak him in there somehow. But yeah, that was just good to see him back. I'm glad he won. I'm so happy to see Daniel Bryan back in WWE in the ring. Then Nia Jax defeated Alexa Bliss to become the Raw Women's Champion. I wasn't looking forward to this. I thought of all the matches, this was probably going to be one of the weak spots. And it wasn't. This was really good. It told a great story. It was really good near falls and stuff. They played up the stuff with Nia very well. Her winning as basically as a babyface. It was awesome. It worked so well. I was into it by the end. And just an example again of this show. This show's pacing was really well done, and all the matches were really good, man. This was investing. I was into it. Sometimes during these old, during some of the old pay-per-views a few years ago, like I would start to drift off a little bit if something was boring. I was into it the entire time, and that's super surprising for a show that was so long. But this match was really good. Then we had WWE Championship. AJ Styles defeated Shinsuke Nakamura. Entrance for Shinsuke Nakamura was the best of the night. So freaking cool. With like a dozen violinists out there and that guitarist. They said it was like Alice Cooper's guitarist or something. That entrance was great. I loved it. AJ had a great reaction too. This was all about the match. I know they built up a little bit of them playing mind games with each other. But their styles were great, mixing well together in there. I know that, of course, they've had a lot of matches before outside of WWE, but it was really cool just to see them mix it up in there. And, man, they were beating the living hell out of each other. They were, especially AJ, seemed to be laying in these elbows or these forearms. They were not holding back. I wouldn't want to be either of them after the beating that both of them took in this match. But AJ wins, kind of surprising as well. I thought this was the moment where, much like Asuka, where Nakamura, also a Royal Rumble winner, should have probably won this. But they went a completely different way with it. And while it wasn't expected, and I love AJ Styles, I'm not mad that he won, and is still keeping the title and stuff. But Shinsuke, this was the moment, man. This is the moment to put the strap on him and see him where he could take SmackDown. But they didn't do that. AJ won clean, and then, they do the fake out thing where he's going to hand him the title, Shinsuke is, and then he turns heel and gives him a low blow. And now Shinsuke Nakamura is a heel, even though this is, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that. The match was fantastic. Maybe the match of the night. Probably the match of the night, but still, it was a little, I was surprised, and not necessarily in a good way, but not necessarily in a bad way. We'll see what happens, but I just thought, people love him. People finally are all on board with Nakamura, especially after that entrance, man. So I was surprised. I don't know. What did you think? Let me know what you thought of that heel turn. Next, we got one of the most bizarre things I've ever seen in my entire life. Braun Strowman and his mystery partner defeated Sheamus and Cesaro to win the Raw Tag Team Championship. And it wasn't Samoa Joe. It wasn't Dean Ambrose. It wasn't any returning superstar. It wasn't. I saw some rumors about Goldberg or something. It wasn't any of those guys. It was Nicholas. Who's Nicholas, you ask? Well, he's a member of the crowd. He's a little kid that he literally went in the crowd and picked out and brought him into the ring, and he was his tag team partner. This kid had to be like 9, 10 years old, maybe 11, something like that. Once again, didn't see that coming. Did you? Because I didn't. But it was a moment. It's definitely a moment. Braun took out, did everything in the match, obviously, and won the titles for him and Nicholas. But Nicholas tagged in at one point, and he was about to fight Cesaro, and then he tagged Braun, and Braun gave him the power slam and pinned him. But I don't know where they're going to go with this, but I'm sure he's going to be an unlockable. Nicholas is in the new WWE game or something. He's going to be like Invincible, something like that. But that kid's going to have a spot at wrestling conventions for the rest of his life. So Good job, Nicholas. I mean, the crowd was going crazy for him. The crowd loved it, and I did not like it. I thought it was super cool that this kid got to do this and everything. And maybe there's more details out by now. Maybe it was a Make-A-Wish thing or something. I don't know. At the time I'm recording this right now, but it was a cool moment. Overall I liked it. It was just super weird and random. But I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. So that happened. And then we got Universal Champion Brock Lesnar defeated Roman Reigns to defend his title. I really like this show. All the matches, really good. The pacing, like I said, really good. The length of the show, it didn't feel like it was as long as it was. I was into the show. I thought it was a really, really good, if not great, WrestleMania leading up to this. And no one was invested in this, and we knew that going in. Why was this on last? I don't know why they did this to put it on last, but they did. And this was just a shit show. I'm sorry, that's what it was. It was Lesnar beating the hell out of Reigns, Reigns getting a little bit of offense in, Eddie Guerrero himself, and making himself bleed so bad that his entire face is the Crimson Mask for real. I mean, Roman's face was covered in blood. Gonna have to put that in black and white in the DVD, huh? So we'll see what happens with this going forward. But Lesnar's still champ, and he gave him like 60 freaking F5s, one through a table. Lesnar got a few spears in there, but Brock kicked out of all of them. Finishers mean nothing now. I mean, I know at WrestleMania they do this stuff with the Undertaker matches where they kick out of everything, and it's gotten so out of hand now. Brock is this unbeatable monster, and if you're not going to have anyone beat him, because if he's just going to give the belt up tonight or something, which is something I've heard, and him going off to the UFC like Dana White has been saying, then what the hell is the point of building him up for if no one's going to beat him? Look, I like Roman Reigns, the guy. I think that he's been dealt a bad hand. I think that if they just turned him heel for like 6 months or something, everyone would get what they want. WWE, the fans, and Roman. But they won't do that. I don't know why. Because it's a short-term sacrifice for a long-term goal, and they just refuse to do that. And they refuse to do that with Cena, too. It's the Cena problem all over again, but with a different guy in the same spot. So, I don't know. What do you think of this match at the end? I was angry. They say it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And if we're going by that, this wasn't a very good WrestleMania, but it was a good WrestleMania. I can look past the ending match because the rest of the show was so good. Every match had value to it. There's no piss break match. There's no old Divas spot where they put the Divas out there before they brought in all the really great women's wrestlers. There was no spot like that. The whole show was really good. I enjoyed it, except for the ending. That entire thing, even before it started, was just a big waste of time because we have no one to root for. The crowd doesn't like Roman because they've been shoved down our throats. He's been shoved down our throats. The crowd doesn't like Brock anymore because he's boring. I mean, we know what we're going to get with Brock. We're going to get German suplexes and F5s and him running into the post once, making that look really good and selling a little bit and kicking out of finishers. And we know what we're going to get in a Brock Lesnar match now. As much as Paul Heyman can talk him up and still do a great promo, especially beforehand, that's not going to save the situation that they have there. So, I'm still thinking maybe tonight. Finn lost. Finn still owed a rematch for the Universal. A lot of U's. United States. All those U's in there. Universal Championship. So maybe he'll do a little thing tonight and he'll come away with a win somehow. Maybe Reigns will help him and then Reigns and Finn will feud later. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But it was a really lackluster ending to a really good show. So what did you guys think of WrestleMania 34? I think it's 34, right? Or WrestleMania, what is this? Mardi Gras hat, New Orleans sign, I guess we're going to call it. Next year, they got WrestleMania Infinity sign, and that's going to be a 24-hour WrestleMania. Really looking forward to that. Forever Mania. I'm just kidding. They haven't announced that yet, but I'm sure that'll happen. Let me know your thoughts about this show below. And where do you think they're going to go with this tonight on Raw? I really want to hear your guys' thoughts, and I want to hear your opinions on things that I haven't thought Also, go ahead and check out more wrestling videos on the channel. I just put up my wrestling belt collection a couple days ago with my cousin Alex, who was supposed to be in this, but he got sick, so we couldn't do that. But he wanted to talk about it, but we'll have him back on here pretty soon. And also, I reviewed Jim Ross's book, Slobber Knocker, My Life in Wrestling, so go ahead and check that out too. And I'll be putting more wrestling videos up, as time goes on. Maybe I'll think about if I have time to put up a review of Raw After Mania tomorrow or something like that, or Tuesday morning, but or tonight or Tuesday morning. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't. I'm going to be doing more wrestling videos. And what do you want to see me do for wrestling videos? Do you want to see more reviews of pay-per-views and things like that, or older pay-per-views, or top 5, top 10 lists of like old wrestlers or my favorite pay-per-views or something like that? Or let me know. Because I want to do more wrestling stuff, and I want to know what you guys want me to cover. So if you can't tell, I'm a little scatterbrained because it's very late. It's been a very, very long weekend, and it's just ending now, and I still have a little bit left to do. So I'll talk to you guys very soon. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you right back here on the channel very soon. Talk to you later.